Good morning. Happy Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. I'm Anna Walker, otherwise known as Felt It, and I'm here today giving you a little art lesson with Anna, an internet create date. And today we're going to make some paper beads for a project we're going to do tomorrow. So without any further ado, let's head the camera down so you can see what we're going to need for today. Okay, so this is a foam base that I'm going to use to roll the beads, but I also have another piece of foam that I'm going to stick the beads on the toothpicks into so that they can dry. You're going to need some paper strips. I just grabbed some magazine pages and I found the most colorful ads that I could, and those were what I used for my strips. You're going to need some toothpicks. Let me move those up here so you can see them. Well, can you see them or not? Anyway, you'll need some toothpicks. You can also use straws. Straws will be a little easier to hang on to if your fingers can't handle the toothpicks. I'm going to use the toothpicks because I want a rather small hole in the center of my beads, okay? Also going to need some glue. I have a little glue stick here that gives me a nice tip on it, so I can just put that drop of glue at the end of the bead like I'm going to need. But you could use one of the glue sticks like you have at school. Those would work just fine. If you use tacky glue or a regular glue, I would recommend having a little lid or a small dish and squeeze some of the glue into there, and then use a toothpick to pick up just a dot to put on the end of your beads, okay? That's all we need for right now. I'm going to move this up here out of the way. I'm going to slide the papers over. And you can see I got some really pretty colors here. Now we're going to need a lot of beads for our project tomorrow. So I'm going to show you how to roll the beads several times, but then you're going to need to keep rolling on your own today until you've got, I don't know, maybe 20 beads or so. You can do more or less. The more beads you have, the more fun that you can have making your beads. And you could make more than just what we're going to do tomorrow. Now, I cut my strips into between 1/4 of an inch and 1/2 inch wide. And like I said, I picked out the most colorful ads that I could so that I could get a wide assortment of different colors of beads. Now, this is the entire width of the page, which is about, it's roughly 10-11 inches long. We can use this entire piece to make one bead, but we can also take and cut this in half and make 2 different beads to give us some really cool colors to come up. Now, the color at one of the ends is what's going to show as the color of your bead, okay? So what we're going to do, I'm going to see if I can do this so you can see what I'm working on here. I'm just going to take, just like we did when we did the rolled paper leaves the other day, I'm just going to take and I'm going to wrap the piece of paper just really tightly along the length of my toothpick here. You see how it's just really tight? And I can come in every once in a while and I can push on the sides as long as I'm holding it in place with my fingers. So I'm just rolling it up really tight. This is going to be a thin bead because we're only using half a sheet of paper. Now I'm here at the end, and you see how little a spot is right here left at the end? I'm going to hold the bead nice and tight, and I'm just going to put a little dab of glue right there. And then I'm going to roll it up. Now you might get glue fingers, and that's okay. I'm going to roll it up. I'm going to try and push it to the center, and then I'm just going to take my fingers and let it smooth that glue all the way around, and then I'm going to poke it into the foam that I've got that's going to hold my beads until they get dry. I'm going to need to let them dry for a while because it'll take, probably 30 minutes to an hour for them to dry, and then we can carefully push them off of the toothpick, okay? Let's do another one here, and then I'll do a full strip one, and you'll see the difference in it. And again, I'm just taking The beginning of this is the toughest part because you've got to try and get your fingers in really tight so that the paper will just roll right underneath as you're rolling along. And I can see that I'm getting a little bit of an edge here. You know what? That just makes our beads that much more individual. And I'm just continuing to roll nice and slow until we get to the end piece. I can adjust it as I'm rolling. Try and keep it nice and even on both ends. And we are almost to the end here. We got a little off course. So let's take and stretch that out a little bit. You can also do this kind of motion where you're sort of pulling on the tab if it got a little bit askew. And we're right here at the end again. I'm going to get my glue. I can get the lid off. Put a little dab right in here. And then roll it right on up. And if the glue comes out, I'm just going to let it press right in there. Okay, we've got our really pretty greens bead, and then I'm going to poke that one into, see how I've got both of them poked in there? So now let's take and let's wrap a long bead. Now, I'm looking at the colors here. I really love these pale blues over here, and so I think I'm going to do that for this one, but I have another one that I'm going to do next, and I think, ooh, I like that one better, I think. We're going to do this one as the blue, but this one, I really like that pink, so I'm just going to trim off just the end of that, and that way I'll roll it so that the pink will come up. So this one's almost an entire strip. This one is an entire strip. So let's do this one first. Again, we're just taking our toothpick, and right in the center of the toothpick, we're rolling that paper up really tight. Now, when we were rolling paper last week, we were doing it to make quilled leaves. And we may do some quilling again in the future because that was an awful lot of fun. Did I pick the right? Yes, I did pick the right side. Just making sure that I've got the color that I want that's going to show on the end pieces. Squeeze it down, get it straight again, keep rolling. And ads in magazines usually have a lot of pretty colors in them. So they're a good place to look for colors for your beads. I'm just getting it straight again, holding it down. And if they're not perfectly straight, you know what, that's okay. These are handmade beads. Handmade means that each one of them is special. Each one of them was created specially by you. There's a word for that. It's called bespoke. A little bit of glue right here on the end. Might have gotten a lot of glue right there on the end, but that's okay. I'm just going to roll it around and then roll it around the outside. And that will just sort of seal the bead so that it'll stay nice and tight. See? Now we have a shiny bead because it's got a little bit of glue on there. I'm going to poke it in there. You might want to have some wipes handy for your hands. It's always a good thing when we're using things like glue. I'm going to do this one now, and it's going to have the pink come out on the very end. And again, we're just rolling up nice and tight here at the beginning. And once we get the beginning going, then the rest of it comes together pretty easily. And it's just rolling up slow. And you can do different shapes of beads. We'll do that another time. And I will show you how we can do different shapes of beads, because that gets a little more fiddly. You know me, I like to keep things unfiddly if at all possible. And when they get fiddly, I want to make sure that I practice up a lot so that I can help it not be so fiddly for you. And we're just taking and rolling nice and tight. And we're getting to our pink. I want to make sure I'm nice and straight. And we'll keep rolling. And let's see if we can straighten that out just a little bit. There we go. All right, we're ready for some glue. Just a little dab of glue right here at the end. And if you've got your glue stick, you go ahead and use your glue stick because that'll work really well. And then I'm just twirling it, making sure that the glue goes all the way around so that we hold it nice and tight. And there we've got our pretty pink bead. Isn't that awesome? I'm going to poke that down. Got another couple that I'll do. I want to find some cool colors here because I picked out some really pretty ones. Ooh, let's do this yellow green here. I like this color here. And I think, oh yeah, I think I've got another one like that. So you can mix up the colors. Just make sure you've got lots of different colors that you can do. You can mix up the sizes too. This one's thinner than this one is, and that's okay. We can do them both. So since we want this yellow-green on the outside, I'm starting at the other end. Just going to hold the paper nice and tight to the toothpick, and then I'm going to just roll it right on up. Straighten it out every once in a while if you need to, but it's just about rolling that paper up. This is what they call fine motor skills. We're using our fingers to do some very detailed work. And this is good practice for a lot of things. When you get it started to a certain point, you can hold it from the tail and twist it around. Straighten it out every once in a while. And that'll make the roll go just a little bit faster for you. And now we're ready for a little bit of glue right here at the end. And we'll make sure that that gets stuck. And we'll twirl it a couple of times. And there we've got our pretty yellow-green bead. I'm going to poke it in the foam to hold on to it. Now we're going to do this one. So once again, we just start at the end and we very closely fold and twirl this onto the toothpick. And like we did the last time, I'm going to see if we've got enough. Yep, we do. Get enough started, and then you can sort of roll it by just twisting the toothpick in your hand and holding the paper strip with your other hand. Let's straighten that out. And then we get down here to the end, and we're ready to add a little bit of glue again. And it's that easy. Again, if you get a little too much glue like I just did there, you just roll it all the way around just to sort of seal that bead so that it's not going to go anywhere and it's going to stay nice and tight. And there we go. There's another yellow-green bead. So see, just in that short amount of time, we've made 6 beads. We're ready to get this going. You're going to need about 20 of them. Okay. You can do more. Like I said, if you do more beads, then you've got more beads to play with when it comes to putting together our design. I think I'm going to do one more because I don't have any of this blue, and I really like this blue jean color here. So let's do one more. And again, make the beads as wide as you need to make them. These could be an inch wide, and you could have big chunky beads. Big chunky beads are fun. I like big chunky necklaces and bracelets. You could do teeny tiny beads. See, and this one's being a little fiddly on me, so I'm going to have to start over at the beginning. See, we had one edge that didn't want to go down the way it was supposed to. So I'll start over, and I'll hold it in place a little bit better so that we get our roll going nice and even. And now that I've got it going nice and even, I can take the toothpick in one hand and twist, and take the tail of the paper in the other hand and hold it tight and let that bead just twist up. Straighten it out every once in a while if we need to, and then get to the end, and we're ready to add a little dab of glue. And then just roll that up, holding it down, running your fingers. Whoops, we got a little off center. That's all right. We're just going to hold it in place and twist it around. All right, and there we go. We've got a really pretty blue bead. So we're well on our way. I hope that this has been a helpful process for you and that you've figured out an easy way to be able to make beads. I want you to keep making the beads. You need to make, like I said, probably about 20 of them or so for your project for tomorrow. We're going to make a beaded bracelet. And I will have one already done to show you when we get started tomorrow. And we're going to have fun with this. You could make beaded bracelets, you could make necklaces, you could make keychain tassels that you could do. You can do a lot of different things with the beads that you'll make here. So have fun today making your beads. I will see you here tomorrow. And if you're not getting the emails that have got my supply list every week, you want to make sure to go over to stabthingsintoexistence.com so that you can get on the email list to get those emails each week. That's also where you'll learn more about this felting stuff that I do. So until tomorrow, go bead on.